Did you guys learn some lessons from that tribute we did for Stephanie? Yeah? You want to do the exercise first or talk about that first? You want to talk about that first? All right, go to the microphone. Tell me the lesson you learned.
Constance Coleman out of St. Petersburg, Florida.
New member.
New member,
New
yes.
member.
Woo woo! I think the biggest lesson I learned was about teamwork and that you just created a wonderful family where everyone worked together and created something great. And she believed in what she was doing, and it showed in how she treated us and how she treats us and how everyone treats us. So just believing in what she did.
Okay, let me just say this. It's a huge mistake to treat your team like your family. I'm not joking. I'm being very serious. It's what?
That's an amen from Mitch.
What knives?
Right.
What knives? It's a huge mistake to treat your team like your family. It's disrespectful to them. It's unhealthy for them. Now, certain people who are on your team might become family. Mm-hmm. But to go around and be like, our team is like a family, it's very, very dysfunctional. Families are dysfunctional. Is there anyone here whose family is not dysfunctional? Whoever raises their hand and says, my family's not dysfunctional, their family's the most dysfunctional of all. Okay? We put up with shit in our family because we're stuck with them as family. Mm-hmm. You follow what I'm saying?
Of course.
We take liberties. It's a very, very dysfunctional relationship to model a business relationship with. A much more functional relationship, a much healthier relationship for everyone involved is a team, right? Teams win together, teams lose together, teams share a common objective. The family doesn't share a common objective. The team has a common objective. The team has clearly established roles. I'm the quarterback. I'm the wide receiver. I'm the left tackle, right? Mm-hmm. All of those jobs have performance criteria, and there's rules of the game we all play by. And we keep score, and our ego has nothing to do with the score. The score is the score. We're behind. We're running out of time in the game. We better put all our shit aside and win. Mm-hmm. That's a team. Everyone on a team keeps their job when the team wins, right?
Correct.
Families, we've got, was it Rupert does no one know? Come on, you dirty rotten scoundrels. Rupert
Brian Reedy, you got this one?
Oklahoma. No one knows this? Joe, do a quick search. Rupert the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Oklahoma, and put it on the screen when you find it. It'll come up right away. Steve Martin, Michael Caine, exactly. Anyway, families carry
Monkey
people.
Boy?
I don't know. Rupert the Monkey Boy. Right.
Someone put Monkey Boy.
Okay, yeah. Families carry people in the family who are not productive because they're family. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. Families operate as a social security network system before the governments came along to provide social security for people. Families carry grudges, and you can get away with being dysfunctional. You get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
It's a really unhealthy thing to allow for your firm to become like a family. Mm-hmm. Now, individuals in the firm may become family, right? I consider Erica and Oscar to be part of my family. I consider Stephanie to be part of my family. I consider Renee to be part of my family.
Got it.
Everyone else is on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on their team. And I get away with shit with Renee and Erica and Oscar and Stephanie that I couldn't get away with and wouldn't try with everyone else. You get what I'm saying?
I do. And I
Okay.
guess I was just relating to the fact how Stephanie was interacting with you and with the rest of the people, that it seemed like there was a type of family setting with her. I don't know about anyone else, but I had only seen, being especially new, but I only saw her interaction and how she felt about you and about how you felt about her. And I could tell that there was some type of something beyond just the team. Even though I know she was part of the team, it just appeared that there was something beyond that.
Yeah, well, Stephanie is now part of my family. I'm just trying to make the point that I think it's a lot of people see stuff like that. If you haven't had experience building a business, if you haven't had experience building a team, you see this family thing and you start thinking, oh, we're a family. And I'm just giving you all a heads up that as soon as people on your team start talking as if we're family, be aware you've got some dysfunction probably beginning to brew.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
So the lesson I saw was that it's a mistake to undervalue or disqualify somebody because of their age or how much school they've made it through at that point or their experience, because they might have a whole bunch of skills and ideas and talents to bring to the table.
Yeah, I think that's a great observation.
That's it.
All right. Adam?
I saw an incredible difference between now, when you bring someone on and you say, tell me your personal, professional, financial goals, where do you see yourself in 3 years, and work backwards, versus motivating you by saying your purse is a piece of shit.
Tell me again?
You needed to find a way to motivate her.
Yes.
And I was on the edge of my seat when you started that story. And the first step of that was, she was, 17, 18, 19, probably didn't have a clear vision of what she wanted, but you were able to push her towards getting the new purse, right?
Yes.
Versus present day, I bet if I asked her, she would have a very clear description of her personal, professional, and financial goals and her vision. So back then it was you pushing her, and I think now it's probably she's aware that she's being pulled towards something.
I would say it this way. I've had a succession of millennials work for me since Stephanie. And I have not been able to achieve I've not been able to get similar results. And this is what I've learned from this experience. And I learned it from the millennials, but I apply it to everyone now. And this is a management lesson you can all apply, which is you gotta find someone who's motivated. You gotta find someone who's internally motivated by something. They could be internally motivated by aspirations for a better life. They could be internally motivated by the goal to avoid a worse life. They can be internally motivated by material stuff that they want. It's hard to manage someone who doesn't want something, because part of what you're managing are their desires and their goals and their aspirations. So, like, everyone on my team, regardless of their age, I'm very, very interested in knowing what they want, financially, personally, professionally. The thing with the purse with Stephanie is because financially she had no financial needs. She was 18, she was living at home, she was making enough money to cover tuition and partying, and that was it. Professionally, she was 18 years old. She didn't know what she wanted to do. I mean, every 6 months it changed. Like literally, every 6 months for 3 years, I want to be something different was. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So professionally, I couldn't get her going there. So I got her motivated with visions of how she could be living her life personally. And at the time, 18 years old, it was mostly about stuff. You know, everyone's got different things you got to work with. And you got to take the time to understand your people. And to the extent that you don't take the time to understand your people, you better have someone who is their direct supervisor who does take the time and invest the time and cares enough to understand what motivates your people. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like in all the key people in my organization, I have 85 employees. I don't understand what motivates each and every one of them. But I know what motivates the key people. And one of the things that I charge them with the responsibility of is understanding what motivates everyone who reports to them. And you build people. Does that reconcile with what you just said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Last thing, I met Stephanie at that Dan Kennedy event and have gotten to know her since then. And every time I write a job post that says we're looking for a rock star such and such, that really had no meaning until I met Stephanie. Because you can tell her exactly what to do and maybe she'll do it, or you can give her some guidance and she'll figure it out, or you can give her an idea that you think is brilliant and she'll tell you it's fucking stupid and be able to defend her position. And she has the intelligence to know when to do which one of those things, and I don't give a shit what her age is. I found that incredibly impressive.
Yeah. Cool.
So watching some of Stephanie's colleagues comment about her or talk to her about kind of their experiences, it's clear that she really forged those relationships in the trenches with them. Like, it was always like, well, yeah, we've seen some shit together. And that, I think, made me realize, like, you don't forge those kind of relationships by coddling each other or in all of the, I guess you can in fun times, but you don't do it by making things just easy every step of the way. Like there have to be some challenges in there, and that's what builds that kind of strength of relationship.
So that's something that I'll share with all of you. If you're thinking about hiring young people, the number one thing that I'm looking for when I'm hiring a young person is I want to make sure that they're smart, obviously, and I want to make sure that they're coachable. And I'm going to say some things that are politically incorrect, but I want you to know the truth. All right? A lot of whether they're coachable or not, I think, has to do with their home life. Like I said, I've employed a lot of millennials. Stephanie can take a lot of abuse. And she grows from it, right? So when she makes a mistake, we can show her this is not going to be good for your future. Not just that it's not okay for us now, it's not good for your future. And that's why it's completely unacceptable and you got to do it again. You get the idea? And we can tease her and joke around with her and role play with her and mess around and really pound on her on issues, and she fundamentally feels that we are looking out for her best interest. But it's been like that since before she knew us well, because she has an amazing mom who is like totally committed to her, and she comes from like a secure, loving home, and so she assumes that we mean well when we do stuff. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't make her suspicious of you, like,
We
you have some kind of
employed
ulterior
Dustin's
motive.
daughter also, who was the same way. We could just mess with her and challenge her and pound on her, and she always came at it from an optimistic, you must be doing this to try to help me, you're not doing this to try to hurt me kind of a place. Someone asked me about someone who is no longer working with me, who's the same age as Stephanie. And it's like, here's an example. I don't recommend, I cannot formally recommend this as a management technique. I'm not giving you legal advice. If there's an employment lawyer in the room, there's Alex Rubin. I'm not endorsing this. But I'll just say that rumor has it that this may or may not have happened. It may or may not have happened that when Stephanie first started working with us, and she would ask what I would consider to be a really stupid question, I may or may not have made her pay me to give her answers.
I didn't hear that.
Right, you didn't hear that, because I didn't do it. It's a rumor.
Exactly.
I may or may not have said, listen, I'm paying you $15 an hour. Your job is to know the answer to this question. I'll give you the answer to the question, but then I'm doing your job. And if you're doing your job, I'm supposed to pay you. But if I do your job, you should pay me. So pay up. And she paid me to answer her questions for her that she should have known herself. Now, let me tell you, it didn't take too many times before she figured out, I'll just figure this out myself. It's cheaper.
And she gets paid for it.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I have had other people that I've done the same thing with, and they're like, you're stealing from me, you're taking advantage of me. Now, bear in mind, I'm doling out $50 bonuses in cash left and right. I'm taking them out for lunches, I'm taking them out for dinners. I mean, I'm giving them hundreds of dollars of just whatever, whenever, just because they're around. But, you take $5 off of someone, they're like, you're stealing from me! Well, think about what's going on in that person's home. Think about that person's world perspective. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, this is another way of saying whether they're coachable or not. So you got to find someone who's coachable. You either have to find someone who's extremely competent already, extremely skilled already, extremely experienced already, which usually means you're going to be paying premium dollars, which is usually worth it. Or if you decide to hire someone and build them from a lump of clay, then you better make sure you got someone who's really coachable. Because the Cinderella stories don't happen very often. They usually end up very, very badly.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Alex?
Yes, so I've known Stephanie and your relationship with Stephanie probably from pretty close to the beginning.
Yeah, your first live quarterly meeting was Philadelphia.
Right, right. And so I've seen Stephanie grow, and what I've learned from it, what I've taken from it is, well, first of all, the story that you told here, that she rearranged her whole schedule and already decided she's going to work full time for you without you having made her an offer, and that, the fact that she did that, she took that initiative. And it so happens, I'm assuming she was right about that. If she weren't right, you wouldn't have hired her full time. But, and you hardly knew her at that point, but you saw that, hey, wait a minute, yeah, she is right, and okay, and she took the initiative, and we're going to do this. So you recognized back then that she was a rock star. And then when sorry, Stephanie, but when she totally sucked at being your personal assistant, like, you didn't fire her, you found a better position that she would do a good job with. Now, I don't know if you did that or she did that, but I'm not sure what
In her case, it was a little bit of both, but I think the point that you're getting to, which is a really, really good point, is if you have a superstar, they may not be a superstar in this role. Right. You may have to try a few different roles. Is Justin still here? Justin. Can someone get a microphone to Justin? Joe? Julie's coming to you, Julie's coming to you. I've lost count of how many different roles you've had and how to manage. So we found the role where you're finally just like absolutely, truly killing it.
I am now celebrating I think it'll be like next week will be my 1-year anniversary, the first time in this company my job description hasn't changed in less than 6 months. So, yeah.
So, yeah.
And I've been here for over 4 years. So, yeah, it's changing constantly.
So, you meet Justin, you're like, I don't know where, I don't know how. I don't know where, I don't know how, but this person has to be on my team. He has to be on my team. He must be on my team. And so when I first recruited him, like I recruited him with a job, and he's like, I don't really think, and I'm like, this is just some place to start. This is just a way for us to figure something. Remember that? And I was like, I don't know where this is going to lead. This probably isn't the right job for you, but it'll give you exposure to different things in the company, and you have to be on my team. And it's just been a matter of, the company keeps changing, right? So we keep trying different things. Erica, same thing. Erica, how many jobs have you had, Erica? No, at least 3 I can think of.
Here? Well, maybe 3.
Within How to Manage, you've had at least 3 different jobs.
Well, yeah. First, I worked with you as a contractor.
Yeah.
Right? We did that project.
Right, so first you were a consultant.
Right. And then
Which
I started...
we basically made up a job just to give her a way to get in so we could get her hooked.
Yes, you did. And then I started in Member Progress, which is what Tanya is doing now.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing what I'm doing now.
No, you were doing the job, you were doing a different job and then this job. It was the same title, but we redefined the entire job.
Okay.
Well, before you had your whole team, anyway. It's like Erica's 4th job.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Renee? Where's Renee?
She's not in the room.
Okay, Renee has... Renee started off running the national CLE tour. Then she ran the sales team. Then she ran events. And now she is director of operations, which is essentially the chief operating officer. 4 jobs. So if you got a star, first of all, if you meet a star, you hire them. You hire them, then you figure out what to do with them. And then you just keep figuring it out and figuring it out and figuring it out until you get the right fit. And by the way, the right fit today might not be the right fit in the future as your business grows, right? So Stephanie decided to go to law school, but before she did, a year and a half ago, she came to us and she said, you need to hire someone more experienced than me for marketing to take the business to the next level. Imagine that. And we said, okay, well, what job? And we said, well, we think you could probably grow into it. And she said, I don't want to. This is not what I want to do right now. And we said, but you could. And she said, I understand that. That's not really where my interests are. And we said, well, what are you going to do? And she said, I don't know. There's other things for me to do here, but I just don't want to do that. When you create a culture where stars know how valued they are, then they're not afraid to tell you if you got them in the wrong role.
Yeah.
Anyway. If there's anyone at home on the Zoom who want to raise your hand and chime in, I'm happy to take Q&A from the Zoom. Otherwise, we'll do Sam, and I think there's maybe no one else, and then we'll get to the exercise. But we'll do some Zoom Q&A. Guy.
Yeah, so for me, the big lesson was thinking about decades in terms of I watched Stephanie's growth, and then I thought about each of my employees and where can that person be in a decade? And where can I lay the seeds for them to want to grow to in a decade? And by the way, where's my own firm going to be in a decade, and what kind of leaders am I going to need working for me in a decade?
Yeah, and part of it is also kind of being, I'm not going to use the word committed, because committed, I think, sounds a little hollow. I'm going to say being really interested in helping people achieve their full potential no matter what. I mean, a big part of why I do what I do professionally is to help people achieve their full potential. I want to help each of you achieve your full potential. I want to help each member of our team achieve their own full potential, whether that means working with us forever or not. I still want to help them achieve their full potential. And I think if you're just interested in that, and again, I don't want to say committed to it, but if you're just interested in that, it changes your time horizon of an interest in a person, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Let me grab Mario, because Mario's got his hand up, and then Josh, while Josh wipes down the mic. Mario, and then Martin.
All right. Hey, John.
Hey.
Hey. So, watching it, I think that one of the items that I became acutely aware of was that it looked like everyone was having a lot of fun working with you and working on your team. And you guys managed to take pictures, to record that. And so you had a great, well, should I continue?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. But yeah, I think that making it in capturing that so that people get excited about working where at your company, that's an important thing as you're going through.
Yeah, we actually have an extremely boring video right now that we use for recruiting that has a bunch of members of our team talking about how much they like and appreciate and enjoy working with us. It's not fun and exciting, so we're reshooting it and we're going to use it as a recruiting tool. And something that I would encourage all of you to do is, Carrie Schultz did something like this. Has anyone seen her website? Her recruiting website? Yes? Do you remember the name of it? ComeandWorkForUs.com or something like that. She created a website, and she's got like this really fun, exciting kind of razzle-dazzle video that really shows how great that team operates. You guys understand, you're going to be able to grow your business to about $1 million, maybe $2 million on your own back. If you work hard enough, you will be able to carry your firm to about $1 million to $1.5 million, maybe $2 million on your own back. Once you get to about $1 million to $2 million, you can't carry it on your back. It's going to be too big. And the only way to keep it going is to have a team of people carrying it, not with you, but for you. And basically, your job becomes recruiting and building a team. And the way you recruit and build a team is by helping people achieve their full potential and making sure they understand that. I mean, think about it in sports. I mean, how many athletes, they could go play for this team or they go play for that team, but they're like, I want to play for this team because I want to play for this coach because this is the coach that will help me be my best, even though some other team maybe will pay them more money. You want to be like the place where people say, I want to go there because that's the place that I'll be able to be at my best. Cool. All right, so Josh, and then the last, I think we got someone else on Zoom.
Of course, Mario stole a good portion of mine. He's just that good.
Mario
Josh
does.
Nelson from Nelson Elder Care Law. My big thing was how much the delivery controls the impact of the message. And so you could have done it with a card, you could have given her flowers, you could have given her the car, but because you had the videos that the team shot that really helps connect, because you assembled that into something that was more heartfelt, something that she could see, I think that made a huger impact on her as well as the other team members, and it really conveyed your message more. And so I look at that and say, why are we doing like birthday cards with everybody signing a card where you pass it around the office and everybody just scribbles in it? Why can't we just do something like this? Or if you have a new hire coming on board, how come we can't have everybody that they're going to meet have this as like a cool fact about the business or why they like working here or something you should know whenever you start? Just putting together that video I don't think takes a whole lot of time, but I think it has a very decisive impact.
So remember that whole thing I was talking about, that having a $2 million law firm is not the same thing as having two $1 million firms?
Yes.
And all that, and having a $30 million firm isn't the same as having two $15 million firms, and how to Manage got to a point where I realized I needed to bring in more experienced management, and I'm no longer the CEO of How to Manage. Just like you're not the CEO of your law firm, we're the CEO of your law firm. I'm not the CEO of How to Manage. Oscar's the CEO of How to Manage. Why? Because Oscar knows how to build teams. That's why Oscar's the one who thought of that video, not me.
That was a great hire on both parts then. Yeah, I think it really does make an impact. I think if you talk about it at the bigger level, it's huge.
It's huge. I'm acknowledging your point, and I'm sort of playing off of the point to make another point of why you need to have people on your team who have more experience building teams than you do. Don't try to learn this on the job. Just hire someone who knows what they're doing, and then they make it easy for you. Martin, Shannon, Ron. Hey, Martin. Martin's a new member. Hi, Martin.
Hello, Martin. I do family law in the Bronx, New York, and this is my first foray into the bubble. I've watched from the outside for a really, really long time, and now that I'm on the inside, it's a fascinating amount of stuff that needs to be digested, and I'm really looking forward to doing some great things with my partner Ethan. So the question I have came out of some of the discussion today, and I remember you saying something about finding a hire and finding what makes them tick in terms of what their needs are. And as a quick example, somebody who needs to or wants to go to vet school at the same time they want to work for you, and they need every Tuesday off in the afternoon, and you were able to sort of accommodate that.
Right.
if that person is a rock star employee, do you do everything you possibly can to fit them into your team? Or do you at some point in time say this, even though it's a rock star person, right now their objectives don't align with my business?
Okay. There's obviously a limit to what I'm about to say. If I find a superstar, I'm hiring them. End of discussion. Now, yeah, Arjan, well, what happens if I only have a $250,000 firm and I find 10 superstars? You tell me that I'm supposed to hire them. I don't have enough work for them to do and blah, 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 blah. Let's get out of theoretical fantasy land, because if you find one rock star every few years, you're going to be really lucky, right? You're not going to have a line of rock stars waiting to come work for you, and you're like, oh my God, I can't hire them all. And if you are so lucky as to have more rock stars coming to find you, coming to work for you, than you can accommodate, then call me and I'll hire some of them. And if I can't hire them, raise your hand if you want a referral, you want us to send you a rock star. See, you can find a home for a rock star. But it's like you're never not looking to hire rock stars, and if you can't find a home for them in your firm, then you find them a home somewhere else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Martin? Okay. The other part of your question, is if someone, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this nicely. I'm trying to say this in a way that's respectful. I'll say this. I don't let go of rock stars easily. I go to extraordinary lengths to keep a rock star. I will do almost anything financially to keep a rock star. I will do almost anything, because why wouldn't I? They're a rock star. They pay for themselves. They make a profit. I will do almost anything personally to keep a rock star. I will do almost anything, create professional opportunities to keep a rock star. So I'm saying this kind of as politely as I can. If someone gets away, it's because I let them get away. If someone is no longer working for you, that should be like a red flag to other people. That's the kind of firm you should have. You get what I'm saying? And I'm mentioning this because
Sort of.
Sorry? Martin?
No, I said, yes, sort of.
Sort of? Okay,
Yeah.
So from time to time, we'll have members who try to recruit other members' staff away. And I'm just going to say, if you're taking a run at someone on my staff and I let you get them, it's because I wanted to let you get them. If you take a run at someone on Sam's staff and you get them away from Sam, probably that's a big red flag. Why did Sam let you get them? Y'all get what I'm saying here? That's the kind of firm you should have. And when you have a firm like that, it's a funny thing. People don't come after your people because they know they're not going to get them, and they know that if they do, it's like, why was I able to get this person? It's a culture that I would encourage you all to adopt. Be a place that doesn't let go of great people. By the way, great people love to work with great people, so the more great people you get, the easier it is to get and keep great people. We have only 5 completed surveys from members on Zoom and only 6 completed surveys from people in this room. Can you ask them to fill it out? Ops is posting a link in Zoom. So everyone on Zoom, please do this survey. Everyone in the room, please do the survey. It really informs us about how we can make our business better. Just leave it on the floor. We'll pick it up during the break. Well, maybe that's why they don't have it. Well, that doesn't explain the Zoom answer. All right. Anyone else on Zoom with their hand up? Shannon? Hey, Shannon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So first of all, I want to recommend to people, if you haven't seen the show The Last Dance, about the last bowl season with Michael Jordan. It's incredible. It's like a 10-hour case study of leadership and motivation and teamwork. So I would really recommend that.
Every single person here has seen that show twice.
Okay, good. I
You're
watched
right.
it this
It's an
year.
awesome, and we get it.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I just wanted to share that because it made me think of HTM.
We've all seen it at least twice.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about is employee reviews and how often you review employee reviews, and if you could give me a little bit about what you cover during those reviews.
Erica has a whole momentum call recorded, or you're planning? Erica has a whole momentum call recorded on that subject. So I'm going to ask you to listen to that, because it's not a quick answer. Can we tell them about Wendy or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
But whomever, I didn't catch her name, please email me, Erica with a K, Erica F, @howtomanage.com, and I will send you the link.
You know what? Post it on the forum. Just post on the forum.
Yes.
Momentum call about staff reviews, and that way Erica can post it there, and everyone will be able to find it. Huh? She said I can't tell you. So, next. What? I just asked if we could talk about Wendy, and she said no. Didn't you? Do you ever watch the show Billions? Well, then you wouldn't get it. And if you do, then you do. And after you're done watching The Last Dance, you should binge watch Billions. And fuck you, because you get to binge watch Billions. And I had to watch it over 5 seasons and wait between each season for the next season to come out. And you get to binge watch that whole show. All right. And then you'll know what Wendy is. All right, 2 more raised hands. And if you do know what Billions is, then you know what Wendy is, and you know what I'm talking about, and you understand everything.
All right, we got Sherry coming your way.
All right. No, in all seriousness, if you haven't seen the show, I can't explain it to you. You have to watch the show to understand the reference. Is there no one who watches Billions? I mean, come on. Ask someone who watches Billions what Wendy is and what that is all about. And they already understand what I'm doing. Just the mere mention of the word Wendy, and they instantly understand exactly what I'm talking about. That's the kind of... All right. We really need to do a Bubble-palooza, Renee. We need to do a Bubble-palooza, and part of it needs to just be where we just introduce them to all the right shows to watch, all the right movies to watch, all the right references to understand. All right. Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Arjan. Thanks for taking my question. Somebody had asked in the chat about how do you know when someone is coachable? And I was really thinking about that even personally, and how in the past I haven't always been coachable. And I can't really pinpoint the time when I was like, you need to start listening to what other people are saying. But when you're going to recruit staff, aside from asking them the question, like, tell me a time about when you've been coachable, how do you know you're on to somebody?
Erica, can you jump in? The question is, how do you know if you're interviewing someone, if they're coachable? Stand in front of the Catherine. So that the people on Zoom can see you. Wait, that microphone's not on.
Specifically during the interview?
When you're interviewing, the question that Sherry said was, when you're interviewing someone, how do you know if they're coachable or not?
It's an attitude and a demeanor. Most likely what you will see is people who are eager to grow, people who are wanting to learn, people who don't have a strong need to be right or strong I know it all kind of personality.
Mindset. Go to the back. Mindset.
So desire to grow. They've demonstrated in the past through the experiences that they've had that they've grown from positions to positions to positions. They have an overall demeanor of positivism and a good outlook about life. If you find a person that is the typical Debbie Downer, oh my God, everything is difficult and things are hard. If you have a person that you if they answer one of your questions with whatever kind of answer, and then you start probing a little bit more during that question, if you want to go a little bit deeper and they start reacting, if they start getting defensive, if they start getting aggressive sometimes, if they get angry, that's not a person that is coachable. That's not a person that is interested in growing, learning. Usually a person that is interested in growing and coachable will be very open. It will be very willing to share answers. And for example, you might say, you don't have to tell me about this, but you rephrase the question and they say, well, I have absolutely no problem. This is the answer, this and this and this and that. They are more forthcoming, more open. Is that enough, Sherry, or do you want more? Does that make sense?
So, I've had where I've interviewed somebody and they seemed coachable, and then they come back and there's something that has changed. Is there a way to suss that out earlier, or a way to make sure that it's not somebody who's just paying lip service to the idea of being
What do you mean that they changed?
come down to like a gut feeling?
What she means is they fake their way through the one interview they had. So, number one, slow down the interview process. Hire slow, fire fast. Slow down the interview process. You shouldn't be how many times are you interviewing these people? Sorry, Erica, I thought you were done. How many times are you interviewing these people?
Mine's an interview, so it's a telephone interview, and then it's either a Zoom or an in-person, or a written interview, and then it's a Zoom in-person interview. And I've had
How many different people are interviewing your candidates?
I'm a solo, it's just me at this point.
Okay, so we for the CEO, COO, CFO position, Erica, grab a microphone and just say it. They go to.
It's like 6 people.
They get interviewed by 6 different people,
Right.
plus 2 quizzes,
Plus a video.
plus they have to shoot a video and submit a video to us, plus they have to watch a 2-hour video and then respond to it before they get hired. And people still fake their way through, and we get to the end of it, and we find out that someone is a total train wreck, nightmare, head case disaster, and they flunk out of small law firm university, and they flunk out of HTM University during that 7-week training program. And some of them even fake their way through that, and then they flame out in the first 60 or 90 days or 6 months. And some of you here have experienced that, and we've had to apologize and make amends. But understand that if that happens, they have faked their way through a lot of stuff. So, Sherry, if you're the only one interviewing them, that's like you got one single fail-safe. I want at least 3 interviews, and you should go last, not first. Because you're desperate. You need someone. You want someone. Let other people interview them before they get to you.
Okay.
And then what I do is I just start coaching them. I literally just start coaching them in the interview, and I find out how coachable they are. And, you could tell if you start coaching someone if they're not coachable. They start pushing back on the interview. They start making you wrong in the interview. They start making themselves right on the interview. They just are uncoachable.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Any one of the workshops we are offering this year is a 2-day. One of the workshops we are interviewing this. Hold on, I'm reading this on the Confidence Monitor. And one of the workshops we are offering this year is a 2-day how to interview workshop. When will that workshop be taking place? In June. Okay, so there's plenty of time. So when that happens, you'll want to jump on it. All right. I think we got time for one more question, and then we got to do this exercise. We can still do the exercise, but not if we go too much further. So Ron, what did you learn from that video experience send-off of Stephanie? Or else what else you want to share? And then we got to get to the exercise.
Well, sorry about that. I just dropped you. Can you hear me okay?
We do.
Okay, great, because I'm pulled off on the side of a road on a private driveway. So I literally lost my entire team during COVID, which was kind of crazy. So I'm rebuilding. I had someone try to commit suicide. I had someone left. Backstory, don't need to go there.
What
It's just
knives?
crazy stuff. What was that?
Nothing. What knives?
Okay. So in hiring my new team, one of the people that I've hired is really good at what she's doing, wants to grow, excited to grow, but she's really insecure. And I'm hiring what is hopefully my last piece tomorrow. And I've done what you just said, actually. I'm last. She's had 2 interviews before me, as well as some written stuff, et cetera. So, and the person who I'm looking at tomorrow does a lot of the same, if not all of the same stuff that the person who already works for me does, but she seems really, really good. So my thoughts are to move the person who's already with me, the insecure one, I'm just going to use it that way, up into where she wants to start moving towards. But I'm concerned because although I tell her all the time that that she's been doing great work, I actually have more confidence than her. She needs to believe in herself, all of that stuff. I'm worried that if I push her up into that other position, which is kind of the hybrid position, doing half litigation paralegal versus half pre-litigation, and she doesn't really have litigation paralegal experience per se, but she wants to ultimately learn. I don't want to fizzle her out or freak her out or mentally mess her up, because I do like the quality of her work.
So
I wanted to know, my question is, what are your thoughts in pushing somebody? How do you know when you're pushing them too far? And how do I help her move effectively?
Don't push anyone. You give her an opportunity, you put it in front of her, you tell her what she has to do to take it, and then you wait to see if she takes action or not.
Okay, now what if I do hire the person tomorrow and now I've got two people doing the exact same thing, which I don't need?
Who's
I need
better?
the hybrid person.
You're saying
Figure out who's better?
figure out who's better and help the other one find a job somewhere else. If they're both great, first of all, I don't think you don't need both people.
Don't think you don't need.
I
both
think you
people.
might need
For
both
me
people.
with the double negative.
I think you might need both people. I think you might be underestimating your needs.
No, I definitely need two people. I agree with you.
Okay, well then you have one and you think you're going to hire a second. Well, then there's two.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. I actually have two. I'm hiring a third. So, and that's where my concern is, that the third kind of bridge the gap between position one and position two,
I mean,
which helps me.
this is like very ambiguous, and I'm confused, and I'm tired, and I don't want to get into like figuring out job descriptions that I'm not even looking at.
All right. My main question then, Arjun, is how do you deal with someone who's insecure? What's the best way when they give good work, when they're good, but they're very insecure?
Does she have clear key performance indicators?
We are developing them. Because I've had to hire a new team, she's only been with me a couple of months.
But the key performance indicators are based on the position, not based on the person.
Correct. And Brian and I are working, Brian, my CEO, are working on that. And that's exactly what we did, but we couldn't do it until I know what role I'm going to put her in.
That's how you deal with insecure people, is you give them clear instructions, you give them clear responsibilities, you give them clear key performance indicators, you give them a lot of transparency on the scorekeeping, and then they can see for themselves exactly where they stand.
Okay.
And
All
if
right.
they're still
No, that's
insecure, then I
perfect.
mean, they're just insecure. But I mean, look, you need to get a 5. You got a 5. What are you insecure about? You need to get a 5.
Okay.
You're at a 4. Yeah, I understand why you're insecure. You should be insecure. You didn't get a 5. You're supposed to be at a 5. You're only at a 4.
Right.
You're
I mean,
supposed to be at a 5.
I got you.
You're supposed to be at a 5. You got to a 6. I don't know why you're insecure.
Well, she's insecure because I did mindset work talking to her and figured out that she was, her parents really fucked her up. So, I didn't know that
Now listen,
beforehand,
guys,
because you
guys,
can't
guys,
ask that kind of
guys, let me stop you right here. You're not coaches. No one comes to work for you and signs up for a coaching course. Don't do mindset work with the people. Don't coach them. Don't mastermind them. They have to show up and do the job. That's management. Management is making sure they do the job. Now, if they do the job, they may qualify for some of your extra attention after they've done the job extraordinarily well. If you got to coach someone to get them to do the job, just fire them and get someone who will do the job. You're not running a coaching business.
Okay. I agree. And I'm actually not coaching her. It's just I've figured some of that out as to why she's insecure and talking with her.
All right.
But that makes a lot of sense. All right. Great. Thanks, Art.
Della's got her hand
Good to
up,
see
and
you.
then seriously, we got to do the exercise. So Della, quick. And this is it. No more. Hey, Della.
Hi, Arjun. Thank you for taking my call. I'm nervous. I'm new. This is my first time here and at the mic, but I am desperate for mindset help. I logged on to try to sign up for the virtual workshop, and financially am not in a position to do it. And I'm wondering if there are any other resources within HTM that I can access until I am able to
There's
afford
tons
those
of training.
sessions.
There's tons of training on mindset all over the app, which you have access to. Tons and tons of stuff to search that for mindset. But when you say
Okay.
you're not financially in a position, I mean, what is your firm grossing per month?
I'm brand spanking new. My revenues to date have been $1,200.
Okay, and what type of work is your firm doing?
Trademark law.
And what is your average case or matter going to generate, do you think?
So far, the average cases that I have been able to sell have been $500.
Okay, well, there's your mindset problem. Why are you selling stuff for $500? That's a total waste of time. Why are you selling things for only $500? You're not doing the client any favors by selling them a trademark for $500. And you're not doing yourself any favors by selling it for only $500.
Right. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
All right, well, someone just offered you $2,000 to do some trademark work for them. Put it on the form. Just Della, put your, whoa, no. We're not fucking cheering him. This isn't like fucking, he's not giving her charity. He's ripping her off. He's taking advantage of her because it should be like a $5,000 job. So this isn't like rah cheerleading bullshit. He's a business person. This is a person, an opportunity, right? I mean, it's a fair deal. Yeah, the other guy was going to charge 2 or 3 times that. So Della, put on the forum your contact information on the membership site, and Dustin will find you there, and first of all, he'll interview you to find out if you can actually do the work, and assuming you can do the work, then you'll sell him a package, and he's open, and he's ready to hire you.
Great. Thank you. I will go to the form right now.
Yeah. See, it's not that I don't want to acknowledge Dustin. It's just that I don't want this to ever become one of these woo-woo, yay, you did some nice thing for someone. No, Dustin did something that was in his best interest. Della's going to do something that's in her best interest. This is how business is done. I mean, he didn't do her a charity. He's like, he saw an opportunity to hire service at a good price, right? Della, there are people all around you who need your help, who you probably aren't making offers to.
Yes, there are people here. When you were talking about trademarks, I wanted to type in the chat that I do trademarks, but I talked myself out of it. And
why?
After going through the crash course, like before the crash course, I would have thought that all the things in my head were legitimate. But after going through the crash course and still seeing myself make all these excuses, at least now I recognize that they're excuses, that they're not real, and that I really do need mindset help.
Yeah, there's tons of mindset resources all over the membership site, in the app, audio stuff you can listen to when you're driving around, doing exercises, whatever. And in the meantime, just understand that no one buys a trademark for fun, right?
Yeah.
No one's buying a trademark because they got nothing better to do.
Right.
They're only buying a trademark because what?
Because they want to protect their business.
Why do they buy a trademark? Bottom line it.
They don't want anyone else to steal their business name.
It's so much more simple than that. You're overcomplicating this. Why do they buy a trademark? Okay, let me ask you this. Why does a person buy a giant monster truck with huge wheels?
Because they want a giant
Because they want it.
monster
Exactly,
truck
because
with
they
wheels.
want it. Because no one really needs a giant monster truck with big wheels, but they want a monster truck with big wheels.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why does anyone buy a trademark?
Because they want it.
No one wants a trademark.
But they want to protect their business.
They don't want a trademark. They need it. Do you understand the difference between wanting something and needing something?
Yes, I think so.
I want something tasty. I want something fun. I want something sexy. I want something entertaining. I want something interesting. I don't want a trademark. No one wants a trademark.
True.
Trademarks are boring and unsexy. Getting a trademark is like getting a vaccination. I don't want it, I just need it. Right?
True.
Well, if you really believe that, which I don't think you do because you're a trademark nerd, you actually like trademarks.
I do.
But if you understand that the rest of us don't like trademarks, we need trademarks, then you understand that when we have a need and you don't offer to give us what we need, you're actually withholding needed services.
Okay.
Do you understand the difference?
Yes.
It's not like offering ice cream to a diabetic and they're like, oh my God, I want that ice cream so bad. And you offer it to them and it's really bad for them and they're going to die from it. If anyone buys a trademark from you, I promise you, I don't care whether you sell it for $500 or $5,000, they only bought it because they needed it. They sure as hell didn't want it. The only people who buy trademarks because they want them are trademark nerds like you who can do it themselves. Does that change your perspective a little bit?
Does it change my perspective? No, it doesn't change my perspective.
Well, that's, I think, because your mindset is resisting this lesson, because I just gave you a mindset lesson.
Okay. That could be.
Have you ever been divorced?
No.
Have you ever hired a lawyer for something to solve a big problem in your life?
No.
Have you ever had an operation?
Yes.
Did you want an operation or did you need an operation?
I needed an operation.
Okay. How you felt about the operation is how the rest of us feel about buying trademarks.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
I do.
Now, how would you have felt if the doctor didn't offer you the operation because he had some issue with offering it to you, and he said, "Oh, I feel bad. I don't want to offer her the operation. I feel uncomfortable about the operation. So instead of offering her the $5,000 operation that she really needs, I'll offer her the $500 operation because I don't want to give her I feel bad about that."
Well, that would suck, especially since I needed help.
That's exactly how it is when you're selling trademark services. We're not buying trademark services because we want them. We're buying trademark services because we need them. If you wrap your head around that, it will liberate you from a lot of the stories you got going on in your head.